Get ready to discover a side of Power Rangers you've never seen before. Not every Power Rangers suit comes from Japan. Over the years, the American adaptations of the franchise have created designs that are completely unique, unlike anything in the original Super Sentai series. In this video, we're exploring the world of American exclusive Power Ranger suits, uncovering what makes them special, how they stand out, and why they represent a bold, original vision for the franchise. If you love Power Rangers and Super Sentai, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Titanium Ranger and Lightspeed Rescue. Ryan Mitchell, known as the Titanium Ranger, is one of the most memorable characters from Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue. His story begins in childhood, when he was in a terrible car accident with his sister Dana and their father, Captain Mitchell. The vehicle was left hanging off a cliff, and in a desperate attempt to save both children, the captain managed to hold on to Dana, but Ryan slipped. At that moment, Diabolico, one of the most powerful demons, appeared and offered to save the boy in exchange for his soul. To prevent his son from falling to his death, Mitchell accepted, and Ryan was taken away by the villain, disappearing from his family's life for many years. Raised under demonic influence, Ryan grew up believing he had been abandoned by his father. Fed by hatred and manipulated by Diabolico, he became a skilled warrior trained to fight against the Power Rangers. When he turned 20, he returned to Mariner Bay and stole the titanium morpher, transforming into the Titanium Ranger. His arrival posed a direct threat to the team, and he fought fierce battles against the Lightspeed Rangers, determined to destroy them as revenge for what he thought was his father's betrayal. For a time, Ryan stood out as a formidable enemy, using his strength and discipline to nearly overpower the heroes. Over time, however, the truth was revealed. Captain Mitchell explained that he had never abandoned his son, and that the events on the cliff had been a desperate attempt to save both children. This emotional revelation shattered Ryan's beliefs and forced him to see that Diabolico had deceived him his entire life. Confronting the lies, Ryan broke free from the demon's control and found redemption, reclaiming his place with his family and the Rangers. Captain Mitchell returned the titanium morpher to him, and Ryan finally began fighting as a true member of the Lightspeed team. His journey, however, came with great sacrifice. Before being defeated, Diabolico cursed him with the Cobra tattoo, a living mark that crept closer to Ryan's heart each time he used his Ranger powers, threatening to kill him. This condition forced him to weigh every transformation as a life-or-death decision, making his struggle even more painful and heroic. At times, he even left Mariner Bay to confront the source of the curse on his own, proving how far he was willing to go to protect the city and his teammates. As the Titanium Ranger, Ryan wielded the Titanium Morpher and the Titanium Laser, a weapon capable of switching between blaster and axe modes. He also piloted the mighty Max Solar Zord, a Zord with multiple combat forms that could combine with the Lightspeed Megazord to form the Lightspeed Solar Zord, playing a crucial role in several decisive battles against the demons. Even under the burden of the curse, he proved himself to be an indispensable warrior for the team's success. After the events of Lightspeed Rescue, Ryan made appearances in special episodes and crossovers, reaffirming his place in the mythology of the franchise. Portrayed by Rhett Fisher, the character became one of the most iconic Rangers, not only for his strength, but for the tragedy of his past, his redemption after years of manipulation, and the fact that he was an original creation made exclusively for the American version of the series. His legacy remains that of a hero who overcame pain, deception, and even the threat of death itself in order to protect the people he loved. Orange Ranger in SPD. Boom is a character from Power Rangers SPD, portrayed by Kelson Henderson. Originally a cadet at the SPD Academy, he was dismissed after only a few days due to his lack of competence. Despite this setback, he continues to work at SPD as Officer Kat's assistant and as head of gadget testing, playing a crucial role in developing and testing the equipment used by the Rangers. One of the most notable episodes featuring Boom is the episode titled Boom, in which he shares with his colleagues and superiors his dream of becoming a Power Ranger. The episode opens with an action sequence showing the SPD Rangers fighting several villains, until the Orange Ranger suddenly appears. He performs incredibly, defeating all the enemies on his own while the other Rangers watch in awe, amazed by his impressive combat skills. After he defeats all the villains, the Orange Ranger removes his helmet, revealing that he is, in fact, Boom. However, The entire sequence is revealed to be part of a dream, with Boom asleep on top of his work desk. To impress his parents during a surprise visit, Boom lies, claiming to be the Orange Ranger. He explains that when he failed at the SPD Academy, he felt too embarrassed to admit his failure and thus invented the story. The comedic tension escalates when his parents unexpectedly visit the department. Boom decides to maintain his fabricated story, navigating tricky situations such as intense training sessions, even though he dislikes exercising. To support his lie, he creates an improvised Orange Ranger suit, complete with a motorcycle helmet and a cape tied to his back. He attempts to act as a full-fledged team member, but this only complicates missions and generates embarrassing situations. His interference allows the villains to achieve some of their goals. After failing to help, Boom confesses his entire lie to Commander Kruger and resigns out of shame. Later, he also reveals the truth to his parents, explaining that he lied so they wouldn't be embarrassed by his failure. By the end of the episode, Boom redeems himself with a heroic act, and Commander Kruger recruits him again to return to his role as a technology test subject in the SPD laboratory. Nevertheless, he never officially becomes a Power Ranger in the series. It is important to note that Boom's Orange Ranger is exclusive to the American version of the series. In the original Japanese adaptation, Tokusou Sentai Dekaranga, there is no corresponding character or suit. Therefore, the creation of the Orange Ranger was a unique addition by the American production, reflecting the franchise's creative and adaptive approach. In addition to portraying Boom, Kelson Henderson also contributed additional voices for the series, including characters like Bugglesworth, Guard, and Devastation. His versatility and dedication to the role of Boom have made him one of the most memorable characters of the season. Spirit Rangers, the exclusive legacy of Power Rangers Jungle Fury. In Power Rangers Jungle Fury, the introduction of the Spirit Rangers represented a major innovation within the franchise, adding entirely original characters and suits to the American narrative, with no direct counterpart in the Japanese series Juken Sentai Geiki Ranger. These spiritual warriors, Master Fant, Elephant, Master Swoop, Bat, and Master Finn, Shark, play crucial roles in the story, expanding the mythology of the main team and providing unique challenges and guidance. Master Fant, the Elephant Spirit Ranger, is a retired master living in seclusion, away from active combat. He's renowned for his wisdom and skill with the jungle mace, as well as for embodying the elephant spirit, granting him extraordinary strength, resilience, and stability. His involvement in the series begins when Lily, the Yellow Ranger, seeks his guidance to confront Dai Shi and the Phantom Beast's threats. Initially reluctant, Fant teaches Lily to channel the elephant's power, enabling the formation of the Elephant Jungle Pride Megazord. His role goes beyond training. He intervenes in critical moments, guiding the Rangers with strategy and experience, symbolizing the importance of ancestral knowledge and discipline in the fight against evil. Master Swoop, the Bat Spirit Ranger, is a blind master with extraordinary perception. He trains RJ, the Wolf Ranger, to fight without relying on sight, developing intuition, reflexes, and refined combat techniques. His capture by the Phantom Beasts temporarily creates the Bat Spirit Ranger, but once freed, Swoop aids the Rangers in decisive battles, restoring order and demonstrating that his value goes beyond physical power. His mentorship is essential for the team to overcome seemingly impossible challenges. Master Finn, the Shark Spirit Ranger, is RJ's father and the guardian of the Shark Spirit, possessing enhanced speed, strength, and aquatic attack abilities. He trains Casey, the Red Ranger, in the use of the Shark Saber and in channeling the shark's power, teaching not only combat techniques, but also principles of leadership and courage. His capture by the Phantom Beasts leads to the creation of the Shark Spirit Ranger, but after being freed, Finn actively participates in the final battles against Dai Shi, showing that his experience and strength are vital to the team's success. The Spirit Ranger suits were entirely developed for the American version, reflecting the characteristics of their animal spirits. Fant's helmet with elephant tusks and details, Swoop's bat wings and features, and Finn's shark fins and jaw elements. These designs have no direct counterpart in Juken Sentai Geiki Ranger, making the Spirit Rangers a clear example of the American production's creative ability to develop characters that expand the original universe. Beyond their combat roles, the Spirit Rangers have an important narrative and symbolic function. They connect the main team to a spiritual tradition, bringing lessons of discipline, strategy, and control over inner powers. Their existence reinforces the legacy of ancient masters, showing that Ranger strength depends not only on physical abilities, but also on guidance, knowledge, and unity. In summary, the Spirit Rangers of Power Rangers Jungle Fury are exclusive to the American adaptation, created to enrich the story and mythology of the series. Master Fant, Master Swoop, and Master Finn combine impressive powers, mentoring roles, and decisive battle contributions, proving that the American Power Rangers can innovate within an established universe, creating original narratives and visually striking designs. They stand as symbols of how the franchise can adapt, expand, and reinvent its own mythology, offering fans new and memorable experiences. Cosmic Fury marks a historic milestone in the franchise. It is the first season in which all the Rangers' suits were created exclusively for the American version, without relying on the Japanese Super Sentai uniforms. The story picks up directly after the events of Dino Fury and takes the Rangers to face threats on a cosmic scale, linking Zeto's legacy and his transformation into Zenith with the growth of the rest of the team. The narrative begins with the return of the Sporix and the rise of new enemies, led by Lord Zed, who manages to escape his prison and rally forces to conquer not just Earth, but the entire universe. Amelia, who was previously the Pink Ranger, assumes the role of leader and becomes the new Red Ranger, a symbolic milestone that positions her as the protagonist and guide of the team in their spacefaring journey. Izzy, Ollie, Javi, and Aeon remain core teammates, while Zeto returns in his resurrected form as Zenith, a warrior on an entirely new level of power, sent by the Morphin Masters to assist in battles that transcend mortal life. The season expands Ranger mythology by exploring the Morphin Masters more directly, connecting the origin of the Rangers' power to ancient cosmic forces. While the Zords draw inspiration from Uchu Sentai Kyoranger, the storyline, characters, and all on-ground action are original, crafted specifically for the Power Rangers universe. This blend of adapted and original elements gives the season a hybrid feel, yet with a much stronger, distinctive identity than previous generations. The standout feature that sets Cosmic Fury apart from everything that came before is the Rangers' visual design. For the first time, the American production chose not to reuse the Japanese suits. All uniforms were redesigned to merge the essence of Dino Fury with the new spacefaring narrative. The result is more modern armor, with metallic accents, vibrant colors, and a completely new visual language created to reflect both the character's evolution and Hasbro's creative vision for the franchise. The Zenith Ranger, in particular, embodies this leap. His white and gold armor represents Zeto's transcendence, a ranger who died, was resurrected, and ascended as a cosmic guardian. In terms of character development, Cosmic Fury places Amelia at the forefront as the Red Ranger, explores all these dilemmas as he is temporarily corrupted and later redeemed, deepens Javi and Izzy's relationship, and keeps Aeon as a key figure tied to Rafkon's past and the spiritual connection of the powers. Zeto completes his arc in an epic fashion, from leadership in Dino Fury through sacrifice and resurrection to reaching Zenith and ultimately fulfilling his destiny as a warrior of the Morphin Masters. Overall, the season is remembered not only for concluding the saga begun in Dino Fury, but more importantly for its historic significance. A stable cast maintained across consecutive seasons, the solidification of Amelia as the first long-term female Red Ranger, and the introduction of completely original suits that establish a new creative phase for the franchise. Cosmic Fury thus becomes a symbolic season, not only for its cosmic storyline and grand scale of threats, but for inaugurating a model in which Power Rangers ceases to be merely a Super Sentai adaptation and boldly charts its own creative path. Power Rangers 2017. The 2017 2017 Power Rangers film represents a significant reboot of the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers story, bringing the classic team into a modern, more realistic setting while maintaining the core elements that made the franchise iconic. One of the most notable innovations in this reboot was the creation of entirely original Ranger suits, designed specifically for the American production and without any direct counterpart in the Japanese Super Sentai series. These suits were developed to reflect a more contemporary vision of the Rangers, combining functionality, aesthetic sophistication, and a sense of technological realism that set them apart from the traditional spandex uniforms. The story follows a group of teenagers, Jason, Kimberly, Trini, Zach, and Billy, who discover their destiny as the new Power Rangers. Unlike previous adaptations that relied heavily on stock footage and suit designs from the Japanese series, this film presented costumes conceived from scratch by the Weta Workshop, a renowned design studio. Each suit was conceptualized as a biomechanical armor that grows with the wearer, emphasizing the idea that the power of the Rangers emanates from within rather than being purely external. The suits feature metallic textures, integrated LED lights, and geometric design elements, creating a visual language that communicates strength, agility, and individuality for each character. The 2017 reboot also recontextualizes the Rangers' origin story, presenting their discovery of power, teamwork, and responsibility in a more grounded, realistic environment. The exclusivity of the suits reinforces this narrative approach, highlighting the transformation of ordinary teenagers into extraordinary heroes. By designing these uniforms from scratch, the filmmakers were able to integrate practical considerations for action sequences while also crafting a cinematic aesthetic that could resonate on the big screen. The film's visual identity, anchored in these unique suits, represents a new chapter for the franchise, marking a departure from previous adaptations and demonstrating the potential for American productions to expand and redefine the Power Rangers universe.